The River by Carol Ann Bowles, 1786 to 1854. River, river, little river, bright you sparkle on your way, o'er the yellow pebbles dancing, through the flowers and foliage glancing, like a child at play. River, river, swelling river, oh, you rush through rough and smooth, louder, faster, brawling, leaping, over rocks by rosebanks sweeping, like impetuous youth. River, river, brimming river, broad and deep and still as time, seeming still yet still in motion, tending onwards to the ocean, just like mortal prime. River, river, headlong river, down you dash into the sea. Sea that line hath never sounded, sea that sail hath never rounded, like eternity. Okay, so this is a poem by Carol Ann Bowles. She's a British poet, and she came from Hampshire in the south of the UK. She married Robert Southey, who was a prominent poet and writer of that time. So she's also known as Carol Ann Southey as well, but her maiden name was Bowles. I think you might describe her as post-Enlightenment picturesque. Okay, so what's this about? Well, this is about a river, and it's a metaphor of the river and the river of life. The river itself is like our life, and there are 4 verses and of 4 stanzas, and in these 4 stanzas we have the different ages of the river, and it starts out young and it ends up going to the sea and I guess death and immortality. Okay, so river, river, little river. It's starting as a tiny little river. Bright you sparkle on your way. So youth is full of is shining and full of energy. Or over the yellow pebbles dancing. Okay, so if the river is dancing, this is personification, because people dance, not rivers. But here it's a metaphor. It's giving a very nice image. Yeah, it's saying that the river is dancing. Yeah, it's a metaphor as well. Through the flowers and foliage glancing. I think here glancing means to brush against the edge of. Yeah, a glancing blow. So the river is touching the flowers and the foliage, the leaves at the beginning, like a child at play. So here the river is similar to a child, and she uses the simile like a child at play here at the end. And then notice this, and the flowers and the foliage. Yeah, so using these F's. River, river, swelling river. So the river's getting bigger. Yeah, I think the river's now in its youth. It's no longer a child. On you rush through rough and smooth. Yeah, so the river's going through easy things and difficult things. It's learning through experience. Yeah, louder, faster, brawling, leaping. Okay, so the river's making a lot more noise. It runs a lot faster. It brawls, it fights, it jumps over rocks by rosebanks sweeping like impetuous youth. Okay, so impetuous means you act rashly, you act too quickly, you don't think what you're doing. And here she's comparing this second part of the river to youth, yeah, and the river and young people have these similar characteristics. They're much louder, they do things faster, sometimes they have fights, they jump about, and they sweep over rocks and by banks of roses. River, river, brimming river. So now in the third stage the river is full. Yeah, the river is mature, broad and deep and still as time. Okay, so we now have a mature individual, yeah, who's maybe in their 30s or their 40s or even their 50s, yeah, and the river is wide and deep, yeah, and people of this age, they have a much wider character, a wider understanding, and they think much more deeply about things, and still as time. So I think this gives the idea is calm and relaxed, seeming still yet still in motion. Okay, so you seem calm and relaxed and not moving, but yes, you are moving. Time is moving on, yet still in motion, tending onwards to the ocean, just like mortal prime. So, time is going on, and you are getting older. The years are passing, yeah, and you're moving towards the ocean, to your final destination. And just like mortal prime, when a person is in their prime, they are mature in their best years, yeah. And she's saying that the river here is exactly like a person when they're in the prime of life. River, river, headlong river, you dash into the sea. You dash into the sea. Okay, so the river now is very large, and it's moving rapidly into the sea. And the sea is clearly the end of life. The sea is what happens to the river inevitably. And this is, I think, inevitably our death, and she's talking about an afterlife, or maybe rebirth, because the water then goes back up into the clouds and falls as rain and comes back into the sea. So almost it's got an idea of rebirth. Sea that line hath never sounded. Okay, to sound means to find the bottom of, yeah. You take a piece of lead and you put it on a string, and you let it drop until it hits the bottom, and that's to sound. So this is saying that the sea is of unfathomable depth, yeah. So this sea is incredibly deep. Sea that sail hath never rounded. So nobody has ever sailed round this sea, like eternity. Okay, so this is talking about the afterlife, yeah, the infinite, and she's saying that that this sea where the river finishes is like eternity, and I guess this is heaven or nirvana, or the afterlife is where we go after we die. Well, that's what she believes. So there you go, a poem comparing a river and the life of man. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. The River by Carol Ann Bowles.